Hi girls, this is my second video because I got pretty good feedback after the one I have uploaded yesterday, or actually recorded yesterday, uploaded less than an hour. But my friends, my close friends, they gave me pretty good feedbacks that encouraged me to go with the second one. They were like, "We love it, do it, just go with the second one." And the second one I wanted to be before like starting to discuss all the psychology topics, ideas, thoughts. That would be later until I like find or like fish my community, so I wouldn't be just speaking with myself. But I want to talk about books today. I feel like it, and why not? Because I have this amazing, fascinating book I want to recommend to everyone. It's more a recommendation that talk about it because you have to read it. I mean, I'm not just gonna. I could summarize it, but it's this one I mentioned yesterday. Okay, it's *Sapiens: A Brief History of Humankind*, which is exactly what the title is about, our brief history of us, of humankind, of Homo sapiens. So everyone should read this book, every Homo sapiens out there, because there are other Homo sapiens and wherever. By Yuval Noah Harari. I think you could guess from the name. Is a Jewish name, Israeli name. He's an Israeli professor on the University of Jerusalem. I actually tried to reach out to him, not in person, but online. I've been like hunting, investigating. How can I find his contact? I went to his page on the uni where he lectures to find his email. It was just a phone number. I couldn't. I mean, it's not a WhatsApp number, but like I'm sure his email is somewhere there, and I'm gonna write him an email because I have a lot of questions in my mind I have collected by reading this book. And what else? Why? Yeah, there have been some confusion I'm having with his opinion about. Not that I'm not sure about anything, but I just want to hear it from him. I think it's a subtle thing he mentions, not explicitly, like his opinion, and like, um, anyways, it doesn't matter. I will share if I ever find his contact. I have a feeling he would be such a person who would answer. He looks, intelligent people, scientists, they are humble. They are not like self-centered. They will be like, "Oh, is she reaching out to me?" I'm sure he will answer, reply to my email, and I'm gonna share a screenshot of it if it ever happened. If someone knows his email, write me on the comment section. Bismillah ala barakatillah. I'm gonna speak about the book. So I'm gonna start by reading the feedbacks from the famous people out there who read the book and shared their feedback, because I mean it would show the weight of the book. I mean it's one of the it had million copy bestseller. I mean I'm not here to talk about it. The book talks about itself. I'm here for the people who haven't read it, because I'm sure everyone, I mean, I'm not that have access to something unique and special, but for the people who haven't read it, the girls, I'm here to share a recommendation with you. So Bill Gates, he said, "I would recommend Sapiens to anyone who's interested in the history and the future of our species." Basically, because you are a human being, you want to know from your creation until now what happened. How did you evolve? What are the revolutions we've been through? All that, and in details, and like a scientific like facts and proofs. It's not blah blah. I mean, everyone knows his history, but like in more details. Okay. And he said the history and the future, because this guy, he has like two other books. So this is like a brief history of humankind, our past, 21 lessons for the 21st century, our present, and Homo Deus, a brief history of tomorrow. That's the future. Understand the past, confront the present, and prepare for the future. Obviously. What Barack Obama said about this book. He said, interesting and provocative. I don't know why he said provocative. In which context? Honestly, probably religious context. I'm assuming maybe the comparison he spoke about between man and woman, male and female, biologically being, he thinks that biologically being a male and a female is different from culturally being a woman and a man. Something to be explored. I think that was part two, the second revolution, the agricultural revolution. So for Obama, he said it gives you a sense of perspective on how briefly we've been on this earth. That's it. He summarized it. And Chris Evans, the Captain America guy, to BBC Radio 2. I mean, I was impressed. I didn't check the guy. I mean, I'm not gonna say it. It's mean. I mean, it's not mean, but it's rarely when you see a Hollywood superstar on interviews talking about books. They all talk about superficial stuff most of the time, about money, like Kardashians type of topics. I'm not hating on anyone, I'm just being honest. I mean, I'm sure 85 of the people will agree with me. Have you ever heard Kim Kardashian talking about something intellectually useful for you people? No. She speaks though about fashion, also one of my interests, but I mean, anyways, Chris Evans said jaw dropping from the first word to the last, and that's something I would absolutely confirm, because I'm a person, I mean, I used to read a lot, but recently, like the past 1 year and a half probably, like I was also became a victim of social media scrolling, which allowed me, or not allowed me, it made my brain lazy, always distracted. I start a book and then I skip and I jump to the fifth book I bought, and like I'm just collecting all this library that I barely read, but because I start, I'm bored, I don't get invested much, so I get distracted myself with Instagram, with phone, with, I don't know, whatever I'm doing. But this one, seriously, from page one, you hooked, because I mean, even as a not native language speaker, and because the author, he's not a native English speaker, he is Israeli, he will use this English language that you would connect with. I mean, it's not Shakespearean kind of language, I mean, which sometimes it slows down my brain while reading, because I need to go and jump and translate each word, and then bam, and scrolling, I'm always distracted. This one I could, until the part two, basically understood 95% of it, and it's basically a science book, which is it's like a collection of his lectures and conferences. He's a history professor, world history professor, biologist, all of that combined in one book. So it's, you feel like it's a scientific sociological book, a history book, all of that combined. So it's so fascinating that you will never be bored. I was in a flight the other week, month, not the other day, but anyways, and I was in the flight, obviously no internet, so I'm forced to fully read. I swear to you, the flight was like 2 hours. I didn't know how it passed. I mean, I was not bored in the flight. I didn't know, I didn't want to stop. I was like reading, like nothing. I didn't move. So Chris Evan also said it may be the best book I've ever read. To that, I confirm, I relate. I'm trying to think. I mean, it's not my type of books usually I read novels, especially Russian literature. I love Dostoevsky. I love that deep, depressing books like Kafka. But I'm a scientific person still. That's my background. It's science. And I mean, you don't have to be scientist. I'm not a scientist. I haven't slept much yesterday. My brain is dizzy. But anyways, you don't need to be a scientist to comprehend and to read, okay? So, and Barack Obama said, okay, I already said about, oh my God, I really need to sleep. Yeah, I've said. Okay, other people said the feedbacks like Jared Diamond, whoever that is, Simon Mayo, Lily Cole. Who is she? Is she the girl from Emily in Paris? Is she? I don't know. If you know her, tell me in the comments. I'm lazy to Google her. But she said one of the best books I've ever read recently gives an excellent overview on how our species has developed because it has like 4 parts. Starts with the cognitive revolution, obviously, jumping from being an animal hunter into a fully aware conscious human being, like the cognitive revolution, the language, how language started, was invented, where the first language ever appeared, and it always back the story with scientific proofs, artifacts, findings, a lot of it's rich on proofs. Like, don't deny anything. Like, everything he mentions, he immediately backs up with a proof. And the fascinating thing he said, fact about gossip, which made me feel not proud, no, but like not guilty about gossiping anymore, because us girls, we gossip. And for example, in my religion, gossiping is a sin if it's negative. It's like you are talking negative about someone who is not there in the circle, you are sinning, and it's negative. But like, naturally, women, and it turned out men are also gossipers. And you know what Harari said? Fascinating enough, one of the things that allowed Homo sapiens to improve communications and invent language to speak was gossip, because that what differentiates us from animals. Because animals like their communication basically be about fight and fright mode, safe mode, like a deer would signal to her friend, deer or sister, or her dear friend that, oh, a lion is coming, run. You see, this is the communication. That's the limit of how communication will reach, or like, oh, there's a lion coming, or like, watch out, there is some like a prey there, we should hunt. So it's just that. But that's what allowed Homo sapiens to be different, to speak, to communicate, because there is more to talk about, which is gossiping, basically. Because you wouldn't find a monkey saying, oh, did you see the wife of that monkey yesterday? Her hair was a mess. That's us. And that allowed us really to improve our communication and invent language, because that's what he said, and he gave a good example. I was happy to read. I was like, oh, because basically he was talking about himself, because he said even professors, when they gather in the cafeteria after the lecture, they wouldn't be speaking about the law of gravity or like whatever. They will be gossiping about the other wife of the professor, or like, oh, you've seen that male professor, he's hooking up with that woman professor. It's gossip. And I was happy. I was like, oh, Harari, he gossips. Shouldn't be guilty about it anymore, because sometimes I'd be like, oh, us girls, we just gather to gossip, it's a waste of time. But actually it turned out it's not. It's human nature. We cannot fight, we cannot debate, and it's good. You learn some new news. So that a point he said, he was like, it made human sapiens communicate more than animals, obviously. And part 2 is the agricultural revolution, and he called it the biggest history fraud. Interesting, huh? Because we thought over the years agricultural revolution saved us, but according to him, not to him, to other scientists' theory, nope, it had more inconvenience than advantages. For example, the animal hunter had more access to all kinds of food, everything. It wasn't limited, so it made their immunity stronger. They were more physically powerful and strong than the agricultural human sapiens, because they had access to very limited food sources, basically the same they would consume potato the whole year in Europe, for example, because now they are local, they are stable, they don't move much how animal hunter used to be, changing places, countries, continents based on the weather. Nope, they are stuck now in the same place. They built houses, they have to cultivate the land, and of course they would cultivate the same thing over and over, which is decreased or weakened their immunity system. And also he said it created stress because the animal hunter, it's like basically like an animal lifestyle, doesn't care about the food of tomorrow. He knows he will just go fishing here, hunt there. If nothing is there, he will move the next week to Russia, basically, to hunt bears. But agricultural Homo sapiens, he's stuck, he cannot move, and he's stressed now. He's an overthinker now because he's not sure what's gonna happen the next month if there is no rain. He's so stressed. Should we cultivate the land? Should we wait? Or is it gonna be rain or not? What happened the next year? What if my children don't have food anymore? And also he said the agricultural Homo sapiens, he started to gave birth more than the hunter because he's moving, which, like, even if now access to food is large, there are more people consuming, more human consuming that food, which is didn't solve the issue. Part 3 is the unification of humankind. I'm gonna start maybe tomorrow, but I'm in part 3, the unification of humankind, the religion, obviously, money, imperial visions, blah 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 blah. And part 4, last one, obviously we're still living this revolution, scientific revolution, it's still going on with AI revolution, obviously, and like in like slight speed. Unfortunately, I'm saying unfortunately because I'm one of the person who's affected by AI in their job field, so not very happy about not very happy about it. So the scientific revolution, the discovery of ignorance, the marriage of science and empire, the capitalist creed, the wheels of industry. So the industrial revolution, I think it's part 4. Permanent revolution, and they lived happily ever after. The end of Homo sapiens. Why did he say end? Whatever. I'm done here. I decided to keep my videos all like 15 minutes. Because not all, because the first one was 15 minutes. I was like, let me see and test. Is it too long for people? Are they just gonna skip? Am I talking too much? Should I switch to shorts instead? The possibilities are larger, are open. I'm here to explore. No pressure, no stress. Love you all. Have a good night.